Someone just tried the door.
This right here is a YouTuber named Brendan, who in February of 2024 uploaded a video titled Scary Attack While Van Camping on his channel Brendan Explores. His channel is dedicated to outdoor exploration, and he frequently uploads footage of his stealth camping experiences while traveling across the UK in his camper van. In this particular video, Brendan chose to go stealth camping near a residential area located at Jaywick Sands Beach. Brendan begins the video by parking his van in a nearby parking area and exploring the local surroundings. However, he finds the area too strange and noisy for his liking, as he hears many bikes and cars racing around him. Therefore, he decides to drive about 30 minutes to a nearby forest. After locating a good spot to park his van, he felt satisfied with the quiet and peaceful surroundings, and it seemed like he was alone in the woods. As the night began to set in, Brendan enjoyed his dinner and decided to go to bed around 10 p.m. However, at approximately 2:30 a.m., he was suddenly awakened by the sound of footsteps outside his van. It was at this moment that Brendan encountered something truly disturbing.
Nice and quiet here. Not even a sound of a distant car. Just how I like it. It's absolutely dead quiet. I'll see you in the morning. I think someone's outside the van. Half past 2. Someone just tried the door. Hey! Right, whoever the that was has now gone.
After hearing someone trying to unlock his side door, and then moments later witnessing the glass of his passenger side window shatter into pieces, Brendan quickly shouted at the individuals and stepped out of his van. Unfortunately, the person ran off before Brendan could confront or identify anyone. After this bizarre encounter, Brendan, without thinking twice, drove 3 hours back to his house. The next morning, Brendan gave a detailed update to his viewers and mentioned that the individual who attempted to break into his car likely saw his fridge sitting on the passenger seat. When they failed to unlock the doors, they broke the glass window in an effort to steal the fridge, or even the van itself. However, when they heard Brendan shout and realized someone was inside the van, they quickly fled back to their own cars. Despite his van being damaged, Brendan was fortunately unharmed during the break-in and managed to safely make it back home. He later mentioned that out of the hundreds of camping trips he has taken, this was the most scared he has ever been. However, he also stated that he wouldn't let this disturbing encounter stop him from camping in the future.
This guy is really starting to freak me out. It's been like a half an hour and he just keeps on moving his vehicle, so he's just staring me down and I'm afraid to go up the front there, but...
This right here is a YouTuber named Lisa, who in October of 2022 uploaded a video titled Solo Female Camper Encounters 4 Creepy Sketchy Guys on her channel Asleep 5 Decades. Her channel showcases her everyday life as she travels throughout North America while living in a camper van. She frequently uploads footage of her experiences at the different places where she spends the night, along with her journeys to those destinations in her camper van. In this particular video, Lisa had parked her van on the side of the road and left the door open while she cooked dinner inside. When a suspicious man approached her van, leaned in without her permission, and started asking her some pretty weird questions in French, a language Lisa didn't understand. When she mentioned that she couldn't understand him, he pulled out a translation app to try to communicate, which only made her more uncomfortable. After watching him struggle with the app for a few minutes, Lisa decided she had enough and shut the side door in his face. Strangely, the man stood outside in the rain for over 30 minutes, trying to use the translator app to engage with Lisa, even after she clearly signaled that she wanted nothing to do with him. Moments later, the man started to lurk behind the bushes beside her van, and this is when things started to take a very disturbing turn.
Okay, he just moved even closer so that I can't move out and so that I can't go forward. Please leave. Please leave, you sketchy person. Please leave.
After witnessing the man hide himself in the bushes, it's evident that he is up to no good. Lisa later mentioned that he essentially stalked her from a distance for almost 15 minutes, believing she couldn't notice him. However, Lisa was recording him the entire time and kept an eye on him to prevent him from trying to get close to her again. Despite this, the man continued to drive his car closer to her van and started blocking her exit for over 30 minutes.
This guy is really starting to freak me out. It's been like a half an hour and he just keeps keeps on moving his vehicle so he can see in my van here. And it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. It's raining pretty hard, and he is just such a creepy person, and I didn't trust him when he was trying to talk to me earlier, and he's just staring me down, and I'm afraid to go up the front there.
Fortunately for Lisa, a family with an RV parked right behind her and stayed there for the whole night. Alarmingly, the man left as soon as the family arrived, but returned about 3 hours later in the middle of the night to see if Lisa was still there. Upon noticing that the family was still in the parking lot, he left quickly and did not come back. The next morning, Lisa left early and never encountered the man again. Although it's hard to determine his true intentions, his behavior and suspicious actions suggest that he likely had very bad intentions. Despite the disturbing circumstances, it was lucky that the other family arrived when they did. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened to Lisa.
So when he continued to not leave and was trying to go to every door of the van, I quickly got around the corner, called the cops, and then from there I drove. Yeah, I'm a little bit shaken up right now.
This right here is a YouTuber named Sarah, who in September of 2021 uploaded a video titled Scariest Night Inside a Van on her channel Sarah Dungo. Her channel mainly showcases her outdoor explorations throughout the United States while traveling in her camper van. The videos usually emphasize the beauty of nature and have a relaxed and pleasant vibe. However, in this particular video, that was far from the truth. In the video, Sarah was coming back from a 2-day camping trip in the forest and was on her way to Asheville, North Carolina. Upon arriving, she spent the day exploring the city and chose to spend the night in the parking lot of a restaurant. As night falls, the restaurant began to close. The parking lot gradually emptied, leaving her all alone. While she was getting her dinner ready, she suddenly heard someone knocking on the outside of her van. This is when things started to take a very disturbing turn.
Know her, please leave me be.
Fuck your camera, man. You're not
I'm safe right now, but I just had my first knock on the door. That was not the cops. I was in the middle of cooking dinner, so I had my cooktop out, you know, propane hose attached and everything. And then he's just bangs on my side door right here. I first turn off all the lights, turn all the sounds off so I can hear what's going on in case it is the cops and I need to like talk to them. It wasn't, and then he banged on this door right here, the double doors, and that's when I got really nervous. So when he continued to not leave and was trying to go to every door of the van, I quickly unhooked my propane. So I got around the corner, called the cops, and then from there I drove. Yeah, I'm a little bit shaken up right now.
After this strange encounter, Sarah decided to leave and spend the night somewhere else. Later in the video, Sarah gave a detailed update on everything that had just happened, mentioning that the man might have been under the influence. Prior to her recording, he had knocked on her window and told her to get out of her car, strongly believing she was someone he had been dating at the restaurant and claimed that she had broken his heart. When Sarah denied being that person, he insisted that he had seen her van parked outside multiple times and continued to urge her to get out of her car to prove she wasn't the woman. Fortunately, Sarah wisely chose to stay inside her vehicle and safely left the parking lot. This right here is a YouTuber named William, who in October of 2023 uploaded a video titled Most Scared I've Ever Been While Stealth Camping on his channel Truesdale TV. His channel primarily focuses on outdoor exploration, and he frequently uploads footage of his stealth camping experiences in various locations across the UK. In this video, William takes things to a whole new level by stealth camping alone in a haunted forest known as Ballybully Forest. For those unfamiliar with this location, the Ballybully Forest is regarded as one of the most haunted forests in both Northern Ireland and the UK. According to the legend, Ballybully was a significant site for high-ranking priests during ancient Celtic cultures, with stone formations and trenches scattered throughout the forest. Many nearby locals steer clear of the area, and those who venture in are cautious to remain on the path because of its disturbing history of ghost sightings and mysterious disappearances. From the 15th to 17th centuries, over 30 people vanished in the forest, and even now, numerous individuals have reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing strange noises at night. In the video, William begins his exploration by venturing deep into the woods in search of a suitable camping spot. He immediately admits to his viewers that he feels a bit freaked out about spending the night in the forest. Despite this, he continues to explore and eventually finds a good spot to set up his campsite. As the night begins to set in, he prepares his dinner and decides to call it a night. However, while he was trying to go to sleep, he suddenly hears footsteps approaching his tent, and this is when things start to take a very bizarre turn for William.
Cheers, folks. Hear that? Somebody there? Somebody there?
After hearing footsteps next to his tent, William called out to whoever or whatever was outside, but he unfortunately didn't get any response. The footsteps eventually stopped and William, in a state of panic, stepped outside to investigate the source of the mysterious footsteps, but disturbingly, he found no one outside. After this strange encounter, he returned back to his tent, and as he was trying to make sense of what had just happened, something forcefully struck the side of his tent.
The f***? Did you hear that? Did you It's gonna
Off, who's out there?
I'm paranoid. It's something like that. Or like, was that me? I don't know. Wait, we have to investigate this shit. I can't sleep in here with this shit. I'm gonna get myself worked out.
After hearing something strike his tent, William, afraid for his life, called out to see who was there. When no one responded, he stepped outside his tent, but yet again found nothing outside. Having heard footsteps earlier, and now experiencing something striking his tent, William was consumed by fear and paranoia. This ultimately led him to set up a camera outside his tent to monitor his surroundings. Unfortunately for William, the camera didn't record anything unusual, making it even more disturbing for William to make sense of what he was witnessing. Despite feeling anxious, William eventually went to sleep and left the forest early in the morning, and as of the time this video was uploaded, he has not returned back to the haunted Ballybully Forest.
I was down in my tent, not asleep, listening to all the sounds, and then I heard somebody down by the shelter. So at first I had to convince myself it wasn't what I thought I heard, but it definitely was somebody down there.
This right here is a YouTuber named Phil, who in December of 2021 uploaded a video titled Creepy Night in the Woods on his channel Hike Slam. His channel primarily focuses on outdoor exploration, and he regularly shares footage of his hiking and camping experiences throughout North America. In this particular video, Phil chose to go on a solo overnight hike along the Appalachian Trail in Virginia. He starts the video by venturing deep into the woods in search of a suitable camping location for the night. The first few minutes of his hike seemed to go smoothly, and everything appeared to be quite normal. However, about 30 minutes into the hike, he stumbles upon some peculiar trash along the trail. Oddly enough, some of the containers he discovers have writing on them that resembles song lyrics and poems. Nevertheless, Phil chooses to ignore the peculiar writing and carries on with his hike. As he explores further, he encounters another set of strange notes and writings as he approaches the campsite. This time, however, Phil notices a dead duck lying next to the notes, and this is when things start to take a very disturbing turn for Phil.
The weirdness continues. What the hell? And there's a dead duck here. A very long note. And it looks like it was just put here because it's not wet. That duck is fairly recently killed. All right. Kind of creepy.
After discovering another set of disturbing writings and cryptic poems, Phil finds a dead duck lying next to them. At that moment, he notices a campsite just a few yards away from the notes and the dead duck. It's unclear whether the person who wrote the notes is also responsible for killing the duck. Nevertheless, Phil decides to keep his distance from the campsite and continues on his hike. As he makes his way up the trail, he encounters two women hiking down the trail.
Okay, well that was really weird. So as I was hiking toward the shelter, these two women were hiking in the opposite direction. They had a little dog with them. They asked if I had seen the guy who was leaving the notes. I said he has a campsite down by the river. They were shocked I was still considering camping out there, but they said that they were kind of freaked out and asked if I would go with them and walk past his campsite so they could get back to their car. So I did, and then when I got back to my truck, and I'm actually on the Appalachian Trail, just going the opposite direction. But I'm just going to find the closest camp spot to where I'm at because the sun is going down, and set up camp and, yeah, settle in for the night.
Phil mentioned that the two women asked him if he had seen a man leaving disturbing notes and dead animals. When he told them he noticed a campsite just a few yards away from the notes, the women, afraid for their lives, asked him to walk back to their car with them. Phil agreed and walked back with them before heading in the opposite direction to find a safer place to camp for the night. Once Phil arrived at the shelter, he set up camp for the night and enjoyed his dinner, far away from the unsettling notes. Later that night, Phil went into the shelter to check out the camp log and read some of the notes and stories left by other hikers. That's when Phil discovered something extremely disturbing once again.
I'm going to check out the shelter log here. Almost every shelter on the Appalachian Trail has a shelter log. So it's kind of cool tradition here. So let's see what this one says. All right, let's see what's happened recently. Holy crap. Wait a second. This writing looks almost exactly like the writing that was on that garbage a couple of miles from here.
It's important to note that the shelter where Phil is currently located is more than 2 miles away and is situated entirely on the opposite side of the road from the notes and ducks he saw earlier. The handwriting in the camp log is identical to the handwriting he found in the previous notes and trash. The situation becomes increasingly disturbing as Phil starts to read through the logbook.
In 2018, while I was incarcerated at the Okaloosa County Jail, what the heck? In solitary confinement, I figured the following out. Refer to Isaiah 28:15. Here in early 2017, Trump, Nebo, allowed Obama to have the special use of the Air Force One for a trip to Palm Springs. This is the same ramblings from the guy that was on the other side of the river. That's kind of scary. Wow, this is weird. It's just like it goes in one direction, then immediately goes in a completely different direction. And there's just so much of it. Like this line up here. Think grave robbery in an attempt to obscure the reality of little Mrs. Wolf. In the past, the Russian collusion assertion have been followed up on many occasions with the advancement of illusions that would show discord in fiction between the colluding parties. You're falling faster. Obey your master. What the heck? Okay, that's crazy.
After reading the logbook, it's evident that a convicted felon has been wandering through the woods, leaving disturbing notes all over the place. The writing raises concerns about his mental stability, which is particularly alarming considering that Phil is alone in the middle of nowhere at night and doesn't seem to have anything to defend himself with. As Phil walked back to the shelter, he noticed a bottle hanging from a string on the ceiling. Attached to it was a note in the same handwriting as before, that read, "Watch out for Yeet Mouse, the dead do walk and talk." Disturbed by everything he was witnessing, Phil was overwhelmed with fear and anxiety. He ultimately decided to return to his tent and call it a night. However, as he tried to fall asleep, he heard footsteps approaching the shelter right next to his tent.
Okay, I'm out on the trail. It's the middle of the night. I was down in my tent listening to all the sounds, and then I heard somebody down by the shelter. So at first I had to convince myself it wasn't what I thought I heard, but it definitely was somebody down there. So I packed up all my stuff and I walked past. As I walked past, it did look like a single guy hanging out in the shelter. He had a headlamp on. All I could really see was the light from the headlamp, so I could have been wrong. So I don't know. I just got out of there.
After hearing footsteps outside his tent, Phil peeked out and noticed a man with a headlamp wandering around the shelter. Unsure if this was the same individual who had been leaving notes, he quickly gathered his things and headed back to his truck. Fortunately for Phil, he was not being followed or stalked and returned home safely. As of the time this video was uploaded, Phil has not gone back back to the Appalachian Trail. The identity of the person who left the creepy notes and killed the duck remains unclear, and since Phil never found out the truth behind these disturbing experiences, this mystery might remain unsolved.